Alright guys, here's what's on the agenda for today. We're heading out to the big town of Cannelton, Indiana. Cannelton is an interesting town. I wish I could have seen Cannelton back in its heyday because it had to have been an impressive place just by some of the old buildings and stuff that are left standing. But unfortunately, time's not been kind to Cannelton, and like a lot of small towns in Indiana, there's a lot of buildings that are dilapidated, and unfortunately one of them has collapsed, and that's what we're actually on our way to do, is go clean up this building that's collapsed. But Cannelton even today is still famous for a few things here in Indiana. They have canned clay industries there, which is they still make clay pipe, like for sewers and stuff like that. I did not fact check this, but I've been told it's like one of only 2 places in the United States that still make clay pipe. They have the oldest operating school corporation in Indiana. They still have a grade school and a high school. But probably their biggest claim to fame is what we call the cotton mill. The cotton mill is a really cool old sandstone structure built right on the river. I believe it was built in the 1840s, and it was a textile factory. And it was used to make a lot of the Union uniforms during the Civil War. And it sits right on the river, which borders Kentucky, which was the South. And I don't know if it's true or not, but there used to be holes in the front of the building, and they were always claimed to be from cannonballs that got fired across the river. It's a cool old building. Let me see if I can find a picture of it and throw it up real quick for you guys. Okay, cool. Check this out. This first picture is from way back in the day, back in its heyday. And then it was said dilapidated for a lot of years, and it was recently renovated into low-income housing. I don't know how many units they got in this thing a bunch, but it is a beautiful, beautiful old building that still stands in Cannelton today. So, but anyways, we're heading on down into town here. We're almost there. It's a little tight getting into the job site. Dwight's actually driving the truck here. He does a good job sneaking in there. But whenever we pull in, you'll see off to your left here the mess we got to clean up. So let's hop out and get started. All right, guys, just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on. Like a lot of these city jobs, this is just a real pain in the butt job site, but ain't nothing you can do about it. You just got to deal with it. So we got power lines overhead. We got a thin concrete pad we're working on here where we're loading the trucks at. It's never convenient when you're loading the truck. The truck's higher than a track. Can't really see what you're doing, but that's all right. We'll make the best out of it. Basically, our job for the day is to get the debris out of the basement. That's all we were really hard to do. You can see in the background there, whenever I swing around, there's some really, really nice sandstone block. It's an old sandstone basement. I was told several times that if I damage a sandstone rock, it's coming straight out of my paycheck. So I definitely took my time and stayed away from them. But a little history on the building here. I couldn't find out for sure, but I believe the building was built most likely in the late 1800s. It was actually built to be a hardware store, and that was its main purpose in life for a long time, was a hardware store. And I think it was a gas station at one time. In the later years, it was actually the woodworking shop for the high school. That motor I raised up out of the basement, and if you look around, there's some other woodworking equipment that was in there. But it's been in disrepair for a long time. There's been a couple attempts to save it. Unfortunately, Mother Nature finally got the best of it here a couple months ago. We had a pretty good little windstorm, and was the final straw for the old building. So we're cleaning her up and salvaging what we could. They're doing a pretty good job of going through. This is the 3rd time I've actually worked here, so we'll go through and clean up and load up what we can, and then they'll sort through what they got left, and then we'll come back and go again. So the next task we got at hand, if you look at this block wall in the background, you see part of it's brick right there and part of it's block. That's actually one of their attempts to stabilize this building, and that's the only part of the wall still standing. We've got to reach over and take that down. So let's tackle that project now. And I'm afraid it's in such bad shape, it's gonna come all at one shot. We're getting ready to find out. gonna go with that went perfectly as planned. So not really for sure if I had a good plan or not. The main thing was just not hit the track over the house. We succeeded in both of those, so we'll call that a win. But basically what I'm doing here is the place where we're dumping this at, they'll accept brick and wood, but they will not accept any trash like plastic or anything like that. So I'm doing the best I can to sort through and get the trash out and make sure we're only loading all the brick and wood debris before we haul out. So that's kind of what we're doing here at this point. So, sitting here hanging out in the traco, waiting on a truck driver. As much as I like to complain about truck drivers, like I always do, I can't this time. Dwight's helped me out today, heck of a truck driver, and we got 2 trucks. See the one back there? See it? Yeah. That one's loaded. He's got the other one. He's on the way over there, so he's been dropping a truck off. I load it. He goes and dumps because it takes a while to scrape a load up out of here. But anyways, the whole point of this story is I decided I was hungry. There's a convenience store over here. So I walked over to get me a snack. And I realized once I got over here, out of everything they had to choose in that dang convenience store, I decided to get me a Tootsie Roll. Kind of second guessing that decision now that I got back over here, but oh well, I'm gonna eat it. That's what I got. So basically, like I just said, it was just me and Dwight. So I was loading trucks and he was hauling off. So basically I'd load one, he'd take off, and then I'd try to sort through as much stuff as I could. He'd come back and hop in the other truck, and while he was gone, I would load out the other truck. I think we ended up hauling 8 loads out of there in about a 10-hour period, and we had about an hour round trip to our dump site. So I was pretty tickled with that. I thought we were moving along pretty good for just the 2 of us. We busted our butts, but it worked out pretty slick. Man, that day, every time I'd hear those trucks come up out of that hole, I'd just cringe, that sound of that suspension squeaking. But I guess that's part of it. We tried to do everything we could and make it as easy as we could on the trucks, but it worked out. So if you guys are riding along with Dwight here, we had about a little over an hour round trip to our dump site. It was across the river over in Kentucky. But actually where we're dumping at, they actually mined clay, and they sell the clay to a local tile factory, not pipe like over in Cannelton, but like floor tile. Then they mine silica sand, and the silica sand is used mostly to make insulation. They heat it up and blow it out this little thing and make insulation out of it. And basically they've got some big pits opened up when they've done this mining operation. Look there in the back, you can see the pile of sand back there. But anyways, they take these pits they got, and they allow you to dump debris like this in there. So we're heading down the mine road here, getting ready to back up and dump her out. But it's a pretty neat little operation there they got going on for sure. One thing I do want to mention real quick, I know a bunch of you guys have commented on the exhaust on the Mack. And then a few of you have noticed on this dump truck that the exhaust actually goes up through the bed. So I've got several requests to do some videos on that. I'm running a couple weeks behind on my videos right now, but yeah, I'll definitely throw something together on that and kind of show you guys my thought process of why I did what I did and kind of how everything works for sure. All right, guys, this is where she wanted me to call it quits at. I guess she's got her own crew. They're going to come in here and get the rest of that out of there by hand. She didn't want me to waste my time or money doing it. So we got everything we could with the traco within reason. We had to stay away from the walls. She didn't want us anywhere close to those sandstone walls, which they are nice sandstone blocks. Obviously we got that wall down. There was a bunch of brick over there between the buildings. We got it out of there and scraped up what we could. So I think we end up hauling 8 loads out of here, 4 on each truck. The first truck, the small truck, tandem truck, it hauls about 12 ton. Yeah, we were hauling about 22 ton on the big one, so I'm not that good at math to tell you how many ton that is, but if anybody wants to figure it out, I'm sure they can from there. So, but that's a wrap, folks. We're heading out of here. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, if you could just take a few seconds to hit that thumbs up button, that'd be greatly appreciated. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out on the next great adventure or the next project on Dirt Perfect, hit that subscribe button.